G'day folks, Tony again here for more Star Control 2. We are about to have a chat with this Melnorme and sell a whole bunch of stuff, including the location of a rainbow world. So let's see how many credits we end up with and what we can do with them. Our present balance is 14 credits. What can we do for you today? I have some items I would like to sell. I wish to sell you rainbow world locations. Your ship's log indicates that you discovered the whereabouts of one of the rainbow worlds which so fascinate us. In exchange, we will give you 500 credits. Oh boy, 514 in the bank now. So let's sell some data on alien life forms. 648 units, 12,096 credits for that, which gives us a grand total of 1,810 credits. Let's buy some things. Is there anything we can't buy with that number of credits? Let's do some information buying first, and then we might also buy some fuel, save us from having to head home. Good, I wish to sell information. Let's give us some useful data on alien races. The Mycon are using this time, while the Ur-Quan have their attention elsewhere, to expand their sphere of influence as fast as possible. The Mycon colonize planets by launching tough spore pods from orbit and injecting them under the planet's surface. Months later, after the spores have grown hundreds of thick fibrous tendrils under the planet's crust, the tendrils suddenly thrust up out of the planet and create huge calderas, not incidentally filling the planet's atmosphere with the Mycon's preferred gases. Clouds of superheated steam and sulfuric acid. Your present balance is 17,035 credits. Let's get some more stuff. Following the end of the war, the Androsynth began experimenting with interdimensional fatigue, a process which is related to your faster-than-light drive, but involves dimensions far more alien than hyperspace. They had just made a major breakthrough when they were suddenly wiped out by a race called the Urs, who appeared seemingly out of nowhere. Actually, we don't know what the Urs did to the Androsynth. They're just all gone. Fun times. Let's get some more data on alien races. The Aralulilele are a mysterious race of IDF beings, IDF meaning interdimensional fatigue, who do not reside in this galaxy or in fact anywhere in this universe. While it is true that the Aralu are rarely seen far from the Columbae star group, they do make regular secret visits to your world and have done so for centuries. Ever since Earth was slave-shielded, they have focused their attention on the humans aboard the starbase, many of whom are now members of your crew. Although the Aralulilele always smile and are never overtly hostile, we believe that they have a secret agenda which somehow involves your planet, Earth. These secret plans may or may not cause grief and woe to you Earthlings. That's fun times. Tell me some more useful data on alien races. Just under 20 years ago, the brave and suicidal Shifixti annihilated their species by exploding a precursor device, some kind of bomb, in the interior of their sun. The resulting storm of solar flares cooked the life off the Shifixti homeworld and incinerated over 100 Ur-Quan dreadnoughts, which had just entered the system to conquer the Shifixti. In actuality, there are still at least a dozen Shifixti left alive in the galaxy. One or two are at Delta Gorno, guarding the dead hulk of their once beautiful world. Others can be found in Vux space. Fun times. We sort of knew that already. Let's see if we can find out some more. The Slylandro are a mostly non-solid sentient race who live in a gas giant at Beta Corvi. Yeah, been there. We recently sold them a self-replicating exploration probe, which has somehow turned hostile and attacks everything it detects. If such encounters have angered you, Captain, please do not address your concerns to us. We possess a formal waiver of damages, authorized by a Slylandro speaker, and are in no way responsible for the situation. Sure. Give me some more knowledge. The cowardly Spathi live at the single planet orbiting Epsilon Gruis. They do not actually live on their world, rather they reside on its solitary moon. The reason? A xenomorphic species which craves the sweet-flavoured flesh of the Spathi has been transported to the surface of their planet and makes every attempt to devour the poor Spathi. I am certain that the Spathi would be forever in your debt if you were to eliminate these creatures from their planet. What? You fear the alien creatures will find you a treat also? Fear not. Our data reveals the beasts are not interested in your species. Should you wish to consult with the Spathi ruling council, you will need to know the secret Spathi cipher, a password which is Huffy Muffy Guffy. Fun times. Maybe we can get the Spathi on board after all. Tell me some more. Like you Earthlings, when the war with the Ur-Quan was lost, the Cyrene chose to be slave-shielded. Their new world is at Betelgeuse. The Cyrene starbase is crewed by the starship commanders and crew, who were decommissioned at the end of the war. Though the Cyrene hate the Ur-Quan with a vengeance, they are unlikely to offer you assistance, unless you reveal to them the truth behind the tragedy of their original homeworld, Syra, which was destroyed by the birth of a Mycon Deep child a century ago. Fun at times. We had sort of pieced that together, but we still haven't done it yet, along with most of these other things. Give me some more. When the Ur-Quan entered Gamma Serpentis, the home star of the Yihat, the Yihat Queen suddenly switched allegiance to the Ur-Quan hierarchy, converting the Yihat by royal fiat into Ur-Quan combat thralls. This act was viewed by most Yihat starship officers as ultimately dishonorable. The desperate act of a corrupt regent to maintain her throne. The Yihat shame was greatly magnified by the Shafixti show of courage when they destroyed their own star system to slow down the Ur-Quan armada. Captain, you have heard all that we have to say about aliens indigenous to this region. Should we learn more in the near future, we should be certain to tell you. To tell it to you. Blah. Too much reading and my tongue is not quite shipshape today. Please tell us historical information. Almost 25,000 years of your years ago, there existed near this region of space an association of starfaring races called the Sentient Milieu. This group formed over several thousand years to enrich mutually their respective cultures, to provide a safe creche for emerging sentient species, and to afford themselves a degree of protection from external hostilities via military alliance. Of the 7 most active milieu members, the most famous race, indeed you know them well, Captain, were the Ur-Quan. Little spit take there, if I was drinking a drink. But of course we'd found that out from the Slylander already. Tell us some more. The Ur-Quan evolved on a harsh planet orbiting a star outside this region of space. They were solitary predators like your praying mantis, Captain, or polar bear, who had a very limited set of social behaviours, most of which dealt with sex, since they had to compete for survival against many physically superior species. The Ur-Quan evolved intelligence and tool use in much the same way as your own species. The Ur-Quan also learned to master their fierce territoriality to build a cooperative planetary culture. When the Ur-Quan were discovered by the Tarlo, They had just begun exploring their solar system in crude atomic vehicles. Although the Ur-Quan attacked what they thought to be an invader, the Talo were patient. They explained the purpose of the sentient milieu and offered the Ur-Quan membership. The Ur-Quan recognized the benefits that such a system provided, and once more conquered the hunting beast within themselves. To become cooperative, productive members of the milieu, this lasted for several thousands of years. We're chewing through the credits, but let's learn some more historical information. Just over 20,000 years ago, when your ancestors were learning to chart the course of the moon and stars on animal horns, the sentient milieu spanned 500 light years and included the membership of 100 worlds. Like all other star travelers, they had discovered ruins and relics of a far more ancient culture, which your species calls the Precursors. Explorers from many species spent their lives trying to piece together this ancient mystery. But of all races, the Ur-Quan were the most bold adventurers. Their scouts, flying single ships, penetrated far into uncharted space and landed on 1 million worlds. On one such mission, a young Ur-Quan made planetfall on a small, life-bearing alien world. To identify some anomalous energy readings, occasionally a sign of Precursor installations. Instead, the Ur-Quan found a small, hideous creature, a Dinyari. Before the scout was able to defend itself, the Dinyari creature took control of the Ur-Quan's mind and commanded the scout to place the Dinyari aboard the Ur-Quan ship along with hundreds of its evil brood. Then the Ur-Quan returned to the heart of the milieu, landing on its capital planet. Within hours, every resident of the planet was a Dinyari slave. Within a month, Dinyari compelled starships and spread the evil, psychic creatures across the entire milieu. The present balance is 985 credits. What a conclusion to the story. Maybe there's more. When the Dinyari took control over the milieu, one race fought back, the Talo. These slow, quiet creatures were silicon-based life forms, but bore little resemblance to the modern Chenjizu. The Talo were natural immunes to the Dinyari's psychic compulsion. They were unaffected by the creature's power, and the Dinyari would not permit anyone to exist outside their control. So they ordered the remaining races of the milieu to attack and destroy the Talo home planet. This planet was one of the few milieu worlds located in this region of space. I believe you called their star Delta Verpeculae. Their home was a moon revolving about the second planet. I'm sad to say that the Talo were indeed eliminated. However, at the time of their devastation, they had completed a device which they thought would give other races psychic immunity like their own. What happened to this device, this shield? It is hard to say. Maybe it was destroyed in the attack on their homeworld. Maybe not. Interesting. I think that might be relevant. Tell us some more. In the Dinyari's new empire, the Ur-Quan were the favoured slaves. This is probably because the Ur-Quan were the most psychically sensitive, the most easily compelled. As the centuries of Dinyari dominance passed, what was once a sentient milieu deteriorated and degenerated into a great galactic gulag. Alien races which did not serve with the efficiency and speed demanded by the Dinyari were ruthlessly burned from the faces of their worlds. The agents of this genocide were inevitably the Dinyari's favoured pet, the Ur-Quan. After almost 2,500 years of unrelenting Dinyari control, there were only 4 living member races of the once great sentient milieu. By this point, the Dinyari had used genetic manipulation to split the Ur-Quan into 2 subspecies. The green Ur-Quan, scientists, technicians, and administrators, who were responsible for maintaining the limited infrastructure of the Dinyari civilization, and the black Ur-Quan, who filled the ranks of basic labourer and combat soldier. Then a chance discovery by an Ur-Quan named Zerkar led to the violent overthrow of the Dinyari slave empire. Oh boy, so much lore. The Ur-Quan named Xurzar. Xurzar was a green researcher specializing in repairing the mental damage inflicted by long-term exposure to the Dinyari psychic compulsion. By this point in history, the Dinyari had grown lax in their dominance, and on occasion accidentally permitted their slaves moments of self-direction. Xurzar was able to use those few scattered minutes to compose a theory. From its observations, Xurzar realized that when a slave died, the Dinyari disconnected from the slave's mind, lest it too be dragged down to death. Further, the Ur-Quan scientists uncovered the fact that when a slave underwent great pain, the Dinyari temporarily disconnected, but that the degree of pain had to be extreme, nearly lethal. Xurzar chose its moment carefully. It waited until it was near an open transmission unit. Then, in a short moment of mental freedom, the Ur-Quan injected itself with a dose of acidic poison, sending incredible waves of pain through its long body. In the few moments before its death, Xurzar was able to wrest control of the transmitter, to send word of its discovery across the planet and into space as well. Before the Dinyari knew what was happening, Ur-Quan everywhere were hacking at their own bodies with chunks of glass, burning themselves horribly, doing anything that would give them a few seconds of freedom necessary to find the nearest Dinyari and crush the bleating creature. As they gained longer and longer periods of control, the Ur-Quan developed new tools and weapons to destroy their evil masters. The most gruesome of these devices was the excruciator, a mechanism which was inserted directly into the brain and generated a constant stream of agony. The Dinyari could not bring themselves to make the necessary mental connection with these tortured Ur-Quan. They were slaughtered by the thousands. The Ur-Quan slave revolt was won. Your present balance is 760 credits. Tell me some more lore. When the last Ur-Quan was free of psychic compulsion, when the last free Dinyari was dead. The combined might of the Ur-Quan starfleets met in orbit above the Dinyari homeworld. They had come together to make two important decisions. First, how to punish the few frightened Dinyari left below on the planet's surface. Second, how to ensure that never again would the Ur-Quan be made slaves. The first decision was made swiftly. The Dinyari would not be allowed to die. That was too kind a fate. Instead, the creatures would be genetically modified into sub-sentience. They would become dumb animals. These low creatures would be further debased by serving the Ur-Quan for all eternity, in the most demeaning way the Ur-Quan could imagine. Acting as translators, making physical contact with other species, whom the Ur-Quan now considered grossly inferior to themselves and revolting. The second decision, how to ensure their freedom permanently, caused great turmoil. Your present balance is 685 credits. Tell me some more, don't stop now. Following the successful Ur-Quan slave revolt, the Ur-Quan met to decide how to ensure their freedom. The green Ur-Quan, who called themselves the Xurzar in honor of the Ur-Quan who triggered the revolt, wished to establish the path of now and forever, which required that all other sentient species must become slaves of the Ur-Quan, or be forever imprisoned beneath an impenetrable force shield. That sounds familiar. Leading the opposition to this plan was Kor-Ah, a charismatic fleet officer. Kor-Ah proposed a simpler alternative the external doctrine. Simply put, this scheme called for the systemic eradication of all sentient life in the universe aside from the Ur-Quan. Captain, if these positions seem to you extreme or unwarranted, you must remember that the Ur-Quan had been unwilling slaves for millennia, and that each of them had to remain in agony for years in order to defeat the Dinyari. The followers of Xurzar and Korra were all on the brink of madness, but neither side would submit, and so they fought a bloody civil war. Present balance is 610 credits. Oh, please tell me some more historical information. This is the last historical item we have for sale. The civil war between the Green Ur-Quan, the followers of Xurzar, and their opponents, the death-dealing Korra, lasted for decades. It is likely that they would have annihilated each other, were it not for a chance discovery by Xurzar, a Precursor battleship. The vessel was huge, many times the size of the Ur-Quan's vessels. The Precursor ship sliced through the Korra forces in days. The Korra were defeated. However, in their victory, the Xurzar were humble. They realized that there was a chance that they were wrong and the Korra were right. Instead of destroying the Korra, the Xurzar let them go, directing them to make their way through the stars, travelling against the spin of the galaxy. The Xurzar would travel in the opposite direction, and when the two Ur-Quan forces met, they would fight again in ritual combat, with the Precursor battleship given to the winner. Captain, this is happening here and now. The Xurzar, the Ur-Quan who enslaved Earth, are fighting their ritual battle against the Korra in a large area centered near the Precursor constellation. If the Korra win this battle, Captain, the Xurzar will stand aside and let them kill us all. We believe it is your destiny to prevent this from happening. Your present balance is 535 credits. We regret to say that you have exhausted our supply of genuinely valuable information. However, we do have many thousands of useless facts that we would gladly sell you at a substantial discount. Are you interested? We thought not. Well, seeing as it's our only option left, let's buy some fuel. As you know, we carry a large supply of fuel on board, which is compatible with your engine system. We'll be happy to sell this substance to you at a cost of 1 credit per fuel unit. How much fuel do you wish to purchase? Give me all of them. All the fuels. Fuel transferred to your vessel. Bloop. Present balance is 383 credits. That's enough for another full load of stuff. But we shall be leaving now. Thank you very much, Mr. Melnorme, for all of that information. Holy smokes. That was a lot of lore, wasn't it? Now, I believe the Pekunk are still going to be in the move, and indeed they are, but it is awfully close to the 17th of the month, so we are going to make our way over here towards the Arilulilile space to see if we can make it through that portal. We're going to go and have a chat with them because we did pick up that warp pod, and hopefully that's going to allow us to do something or other to do with quasi-space, which is hopefully going to allow us to travel faster around the galaxy and all that jazz, because it is fairly critical to what we're setting out to do. Oh, look at that. That was good timing. We were right where we needed to be, right when we needed to be there. So clearly we're going to want to avoid flying into any of these portals, because that would be a bad call. And we could end up pretty much anywhere in the galaxy, a long, long way away from this thing that we're wanting to do. So let's, I think it was up in this direction, if I recall correctly. Yep, there it is. So let's go and have a look and see what the Arilu have to say to us. The prospect of sharing the easy way with you excites us. If you have found the Ur-Quan warp pod, this prospect can be made a reality. Yep, I've obtained the warp pod unit from the Ur-Quan wreck. What a surprise! As we have always said, humans are a most resourceful and clever species. We are so proud of you, but don't worry that you shall have to wait. We are prepared. Even now our technical personnel are equipping your ship with a custom version of our portal spawner device. The device is usable only in hyperspace whenever it is activated. The spawner will focus several interdimensional fatigue beams adjacent to your vessel, opening a temporary hole into quasi-space. Move quickly through the portal. After your ship has passed into quasi-space, you can choose any of the nearby portals, which lead back to points of interest in hyperspace, thus sparing your precious time and fuel. Be keenly aware of this fact. The spawner requires a great deal of energy to function. We estimate that each time you use the device, it will consume 10 of your fuel units. Cool. Goodbye, my Aralu friends. Goodbye, clever child. So there we have it. We have the ability, apparently now in hyperspace, to open up a portal into this map that we're in here now, quasi-space. So that's handy. It's going to allow us to travel through all of these existing natural portals, which lead out to somewhere in the galaxy. I don't really know where. So on that note, let's have a travel through here, the nearest one, see where we end up. Well, how about that? It took us more or less exactly back to where we were before. So we're going to have to do a long trip down to the Pekunk here to try and stop them from reaching the Yihut. Now we're going to want to go and have a chat with the Sparthy here, because according to what the Melnorme were telling us, we do have the capacity to get them on our side. So let's head on in, or at least start heading on in that direction. That's going to take 33 fuel. We have tons of fuel thanks to the Melnorme. And it is also going to push us on the way to intercepting those Pekunk. So let's give that a try for now, rather than jumping directly to hyperspace, because I don't know where any of those portals lead, because they don't match up with the hyperspace map. Maybe that is something that we should have a look at anyway. My recording clock is telling me that that's pretty much time, so that is all the time we have for this part of the Let's Play. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thumbs up, subscribe, please tell a friend if you think they might enjoy this, and come back again soon for more Star Control 2.